The galaxy believed Earth was quiet, a small blue world, a planet that preferred peace, a planet that liked to stay away from big wars and old alien grudges. Many advanced species thought humans were still young, still soft, still easy to push around. But they were wrong, and they were about to learn how wrong they truly were. 4 months now, the Voynich Dominion, a large and aggressive alien empire, had been watching Earth very closely. The Dominion had conquered more than 40 worlds. They had wiped out fleets, crushed rebellions, and forced whole civilizations to kneel. They believed Earth would be no different. So when the Dominion invited Earth to a peace meeting, almost every species in the galaxy laughed quietly. Of course Earth would go. Of course Earth would send diplomats. Of course Earth would talk politely and hope the Dominion did not destroy them. At least, that is what everyone expected. No one imagined what Earth would actually do. On a cold, dark morning above Jupiter, the Dominion's massive flagship hung like a metal storm cloud. Its hull was covered in black armor, marked with glowing red symbols that looked like fresh scars. Dozens of escort ships floated nearby, each one armed with weapons strong enough to melt continents. Inside this frightening fleet, every alien officer believed Earth had already lost. The meeting was only a formality, a small performance before the real attack, a stage to watch Earth surrender. But then something strange happened. Earth's ship arrived. It was not a large battleship. It was not even a diplomatic cruiser. It was a small, simple shuttle, a shuttle just big enough for one passenger. Alien soldiers stared in confusion as the shuttle docked. Was this a mistake? A joke? A final act of desperation? Then the door opened and a single human stepped out. He wore a clean tan military uniform. He carried a black briefcase in his right hand, held tightly but calmly. His shoulders were square. His boots were polished. His eyes were cold, clear, and sharp. His name was Major Cole Harrigan of the Earth Marine Detachment. He came alone. The soldiers watching him had never seen a human Marine before. They expected fear, shaking hands, nervous breaths, something to show human weakness. But Cole moved like he owned the hallway. His steps were steady. His face was unreadable. His uniform and medals caught the light of the corridor as if announcing his arrival. When he passed the first group of Dominion guards, not one of them dared to speak. A high-ranking alien officer grunted in annoyance and approached Cole. "Where is your diplomatic team?" he demanded. Cole looked at him for a brief second and answered, "I am the team." The officer waited, expecting more explanation, but Cole continued walking, leaving the alien standing there in uncomfortable silence. The corridor leading to the meeting chamber was long, bright, and built to intimidate visitors. The walls were tall, shaped with curves like sharp claws. Red lights glowed faintly along the ceiling. Strange symbols were carved into metal floors, showing battles the Dominion had won over the centuries. Most visitors kept their heads down when walking here, but not Cole. He walked with perfect posture, his eyes scanning every door, every guard, every camera. The briefcase never left his grip. His calmness made more than a few soldiers whisper among themselves. Why would Earth send only one man? Is he here to beg? Maybe Earth ran out of diplomats. But the way Cole moved did not feel like begging. He walked like someone with a purpose, someone with certainty, someone who wasn't here to talk his way out of danger. Every step he took made the guards feel more uneasy. As Cole approached the main chamber, the huge doors slid open with a deep metallic sound. Inside, the meeting hall stretched endlessly, shaped like an arena designed to make visitors feel small. Thick pillars rose to the ceiling. Floating holograms showed the Dominion's battle victories. Rows of alien officers sat in a semicircle around a central table. At the far end stood Commander Volker, the Dominion's most feared war leader. His armor was dark red, his posture tall and proud. His voice sounded like grinding stone. "So," Volker said loudly, "Earth sends us a soldier instead of a diplomat." His officers laughed. Cole did not. He stepped into the center of the room and placed a briefcase gently on the table. Then he looked straight at the commander. "Earth received your invitation," Cole said calmly. "We came to listen." The air in the room became heavier. Aliens expected humans to stutter or look down in fear. But Cole held his ground, staring directly into Volker's red eyes without blinking. Volker smiled in a cruel way. Where are your superiors, human? Where's your ambassador? Where's the one who speaks for your world? Cole's answer was simple. I speak for Earth today. Silence fell over the chamber again. Some alien officers frowned. Some whispered in confusion. Some looked at the briefcase, wondering what was inside. Volker leaned forward. You? A Marine? You speak for all of Earth. Cole didn't even flinch. Today, yes. Several Dominion generals looked offended. A single human soldier speaking for an entire planet was ridiculous to them, an insult. But something in Cole's voice made even the proud commander hesitate. The Marine was not nervous, not arrogant, not joking. He was confident, too confident. Volker narrowed his eyes. What is in the briefcase, human? He asked. Cole placed one hand over it. Earth's answer, he said quietly. The room fell completely still. And for the first time since the meeting began, the Dominion officers felt a cold, creeping sense of uncertainty. Commander Volker stared at the human Marine as if trying to see inside his mind. The Dominion officers had expected fear, trembling, maybe even tears. They had not expected silence. They had not expected calm. And they certainly had not expected confidence. Major Cole Harrigan stood alone in the center of the hall, the black briefcase resting on the table in front of him. Dozens of alien eyes watched him from every direction. Their armor clicked softly as they shifted in their seats, trying to understand this quiet human who refused to be intimidated. Volker finally broke the silence. Very well, human, he said, spreading his arms wide. Let's begin the discussion. The word discussion felt like poison in his mouth. It wasn't a meeting. It wasn't diplomacy. It was a stage humiliation. Cole sensed it instantly. A tall alien minister stepped forward and activated a hologram in the air. It showed Earth's location, Earth's colonies, Earth's fleets, every detail the Dominion had gathered. As you can see, the minister said with a smug tone, your world is small. Your colonies are few. Your military is inexperienced. The Dominion offers you a simple agreement. Cole said nothing. You will pay tribute, the minister continued. A yearly payment of resources, technology, and manpower. In return, we will allow Earth to exist under Dominion protection. A few alien officers chuckled. Protection. Everyone knew what that meant. Slavery disguised as kindness. The minister changed a hologram to show a map of the Dominion's territory. Huge, stretching across star clusters like a shadow. Refuse this offer, the minister said coldly, and Earth will be absorbed. By force. Cole kept his eyes locked on the hologram, his face calm but unreadable. Volker leaned forward. Well, human, speak. What does Earth say to our generous offer? Cole placed his hands on the table, fingers beside the briefcase locks. His voice was steady. Earth says, Cole began slowly, that the Dominion is lying. A wave of shock rippled through the room. Alien officers stood up. Guards raised their weapons. Several ministers hissed in anger, but Cole kept speaking. You call this diplomacy, he said, but you brought a fleet large enough to destroy a solar system. You call this a meeting, but you plan to attack no matter what Earth answered. Cole tapped the table. And you call your offer generous, but it's nothing more than a threat. Commander Volker's eyes narrowed dangerously. You dare accuse the Dominion of deceit, he growled. Cole did not blink. You invited Earth here to surrender, he said, not to negotiate. The room exploded with noise, angry shouts, threats, claws slamming against metal. A few guards stepped closer to Cole as if ready to strike. The tension in the chamber felt like static electricity, gathering, growing, waiting to explode. But Volker simply raised one hand. Silence fell immediately. The commander stood and walked slowly around the table, circling Cole like a predator. You are bold, human, Volker murmured, but boldness is not strength. He stopped in front of Cole and stared him down. Tell me, he said, why would your leader send a mere Marine to a meeting with an empire that can crush your world in one strike? Cole's voice remained cool. They sent the person who was needed. And why you? Volker demanded. Cole placed one hand on the briefcase. Because I carry what Earth came to say. The commander's gaze dropped to the briefcase. That case, he said softly. Open it. Every alien in the room leaned forward. The guards took aim. No one blinked. Cole didn't reach for the locks. Instead, he said, this briefcase opens only when the time is right. The officers erupted again. One shouted that the human was mocking them. Another demanded they seize the briefcase. But before anyone could move, Cole spoke louder. You think you understand Earth, he said, turning slowly to look at the entire room. But you don't. You think humans are weak because we choose peace. But peace is a choice, not a limit. Some aliens fell silent, caught off guard. Cole continued. You expected diplomats, he said. You expected soft words. You expected fear. His gaze swept across the chamber, sharp and steady. You expected the wrong species. The lights flickered. A low alarm sounded somewhere in the ship. At first, the aliens ignored it. Dominion ships rarely experienced errors. Their technology was precise, almost flawless. A simple alarm was nothing. But then a second alarm activated. Then a third. Volker spun toward his officers. What is happening? A technician checked a glowing display and froze. His skin turned pale. Our engines, he stammered. They're shutting down. What? Volker roared. The technician's fingers shook as he read more data. Weapons offline, shield grid failing, communications disrupted across the whole fleet. Gasps spread through the room. The Dominion fleet, one of the strongest in the galaxy, was losing power. All at once. Volker turned sharply toward the Marine. What have you done? He demanded. Cole stood exactly as he had before. Calm. Centered. The briefcase still locked. I warned you, Cole said quietly. This was never a diplomatic meeting. The commander stepped closer, fury burning in his eyes. What is in that briefcase? He shouted. Cole lifted it slowly with one hand. Earth's answer, he repeated. The alarms grew louder. More systems failed. The ship trembled slightly, as if something massive had just turned off far below the deck. For the first time since the meeting began, the Dominion officers felt something they had not felt in many years. Fear. The alarm screamed across the Dominion flagship, like wounded animals. Red lights flashed along the ceiling, turning the meeting chamber into a storm of shadows and panic. Officers rushed to their consoles. Guards tightened their grips. Ministers shouted orders at each other, but nothing seemed to work. Major Cole Harrigan did not move. He stood calmly with the briefcase in his hand while the walls around him trembled with warning signals. His face was steady, almost peaceful, as if he had known this would happen all along. Commander Volker slammed a fist against a control panel. Report, he barked. Now! A technician beside him looked petrified. His fingers danced across the glowing display, but the symbols flickered and vanished before he could read them. Systems not responding, he whispered. I cannot access engines, shields, navigation, nothing. Volker snapped his head around. Impossible. Our technology is secure. No outsider could break into it. That is correct, Cole said quietly. Every alien froze and turned toward him. Cole stepped closer to the center of the room. His boots echoed on the metal floor, his calm steps almost insulting against the chaos happening all around. You are right, Commander, Cole continued. Earth cannot break your systems. He lifted the briefcase, slightly. But this can... Volker's eyes widened with fury. What is that device? He growled. A bomb? A virus? Some primitive human weapon? Cole shook his head once. No, nothing so messy. A minister hissed. Explain yourself. Cole set the briefcase on the table again, gently, like someone placing a book instead of something dangerous. It's called a quantum interference core, Cole said. A prototype from Earth's defense labs. The alien stared. A minister scoffed. What does it do? Cole looked around the room. It shuts down anything near it. Volker's jaw clenched. You disable my fleet? Cole didn't answer directly. Instead, he said, your fleet was prepared to fire on Earth the moment we refused your fake treaty. So Earth prepared something in return. The commander took a step forward, glaring down at the Marine. You humans dare threaten the Dominion? Cole looked into the alien's burning red eyes. We do more than dare. The room erupted again. Some officers shouted. Others tried to communicate with their ships, only to find their devices dead. Guards pointed weapons at Cole, but Volker stopped them with a sharp command. Do not fire, the commander growled. Not until I understand. He faced Cole again. Human, what exactly have you done? Cole took a breath, calm and measured. Before coming here, Earth's intelligence discovered that your invitation was a trap. You replaced diplomats with soldiers. You moved half your fleet into attack position. You opened weapon bays before the meeting even began. Volker snarled but did not deny it. So Earth made a decision, Cole continued. We would not walk into your wolf's den unprepared. The Marine tapped the briefcase. This device disrupts quantum fields. Your engines rely on quantum threading. Your shields rely on phase currents. Your weapons rely on harmonized fields. Cole spread his hands slightly. When the case activated, everything shut down. Gasps echoed across the chamber. One alien minister pointed a shaking finger at the briefcase. That means we cannot move? Correct, Cole said. We cannot fire? Correct. We cannot call reinforcements? Cole's voice remained steady. You cannot do anything. The room fell silent. Even the alarms seemed quieter now, almost uncertain of themselves. Commander Volker stared at the Marine for a long moment. His anger changed to something more dangerous, cold, slow calculation. You think this makes you powerful, human? He said softly. Your Earth, your people, they are still small. You cannot hold us forever. Cole nodded. That is true. Volker frowned. Then what is your goal? Victory? Revenge? Negotiation? Cole tapped the briefcase again. This was not an attack, Commander. It was a pause. The aliens blinked, confused. A pause, Volker growled. Yes, Cole said. A pause to speak honestly. Cole pointed to the hologram still flickering above the table. You invited Earth here to threaten us, he said. But you never expected us to walk in with a countermeasure. He gestured to the silent consoles, the disabled systems. And you never expected us to stop your entire fleet without firing a single shot. Cole stepped forward, his voice lowering. You wanted Earth to kneel, but Earth came to stand. The tension thickened. The guards looked uncertain. Ministers glanced at one another, trying to understand the shifting balance of power. Cole's next words cut through the tension like a blade. Earth did not come to start a war, he said. Earth came to stop one. Suddenly, a new voice crackled to the chamber speakers. Broken, static-filled, barely working. Commander, multiple ships approaching. Not Dominion, unknown origin. The technician's eyes widened as he read the data. They're surrounding us. Volker spun toward Cole. Your people? He demanded. Cole shook his head. No, Earth only sent me. Then he raised one eyebrow. But I think the galaxy was watching. Before anyone could respond, the ship trembled again, this time not from failing systems, but from something outside, something big, something powerful. The Dominion officers ran to the screens. One by one, their expressions shifted from pride to confusion to fear, and Cole stood silently behind them, watching, because this was the moment Earth had been waiting for. The Dominion officers crowded around the viewing screens, faces tight with fear and confusion. Outside the flagship, dozens of unknown ships drifted into position. They were not Dominion vessels. They were not Earth vessels. Their designs were strange, curved metal, glowing blue cores, long wings shaped like blades of light. Commander Volker stared at them with narrowed eyes. Identify them, he snapped. I can't, the technician said. All systems are still down. Scanners offline. Transponders silent. The ships outside move with slow, controlled precision, surrounding the entire Dominion fleet, like a tightening circle. They did not fire. They did not send messages. They simply watched. Cole Harrigan remained the center of the chamber, hands clasped behind his back, the briefcase resting calmly beside him. Volker turned toward him. frustration twisting in every muscle of his face. "Human," he growled, "what game is this? Are those ships yours or not?" Cole shook his head once. "They're not ours." "Then who sent them?" the commander demanded. Cole looked up at the screens. "The Galaxy," he said simply. Volker blinked. "What?" Cole walked toward the front of the room, passing alien officers who flinched away as if the Marine were carrying a bomb. "You think Earth came here alone," Cole said. "You think Earth stood against you with only one man and one device." He gestured to the circle of ships outside. "But you're wrong, Commander. The Galaxy is tired of your empire, tired of your fear tactics, tired of watching you destroy weaker worlds." The commander clenched his jaw. "You expect me to believe these ships are here to protect Earth?" Cole's voice was cold. "They're here because Earth had the courage to say no." A murmur spread across the chamber as the significance of those words settled in. The Dominion had ruled for centuries through fear. No one dared speak against them. No one dared stand up. Until today. Until Earth. Volker stepped closer to Cole, towering over him. "You still don't understand," Volker hissed. "Your people are weak. These outsiders are weaker. The Dominion will crush them all." Cole stared directly into the commander's angry red eyes. "You can't crush anyone right now." The whole room turned silent again. Cole nodded toward the flickering screens. "You have no engines, no weapons, no shields." He tapped the briefcase lightly. "And every ship around you knows it." One of the Dominion ministers trembled. "They're waiting," she whispered. "But for what?" Cole answered without hesitation. "For your choice." Volker barked a harsh, angry laugh. "My choice? Human, you have trapped my fleet in the middle of space. You think I have any choice left?" Cole took a deep breath. "Actually," he said, "you have two." Everyone listened. "You can choose to attack Earth anyway, using whatever you have left after your system's reboot. You can try to fight us. You can try to fight them." Cole pointed to the unknown ships still circling outside. "But it will end your empire." Volker's eye twitched. "And the second choice?" he asked slowly. Cole stepped closer. "You open real peace talks. Not fake ones. Not traps. You treat Earth and every other world you bully with respect." Some Dominion officers hissed in anger. Others looked away, ashamed or uncertain. Volker remained still. "Peace," he said with disgust. "The Dominion does not negotiate with weak species." Cole's voice hardened. "No, Commander. The Dominion does not negotiate with those who fear you." He looked at the aliens one by one. "But humanity does not fear you." The room felt like it had stopped breathing. Volker's eyes narrowed to slits. "You expect me to yield? You expect the Dominion to bend before a single human with a briefcase?" Cole nodded once. "I expect you to survive." For the first time, the commander's expression cracked. His eyes flicked toward the screens. The unknown ships waited outside, motionless but ready. The alarms inside the flagship blared without pause. Officers shouted reports, all of them bad. The fleet was helpless. The Empire was on the verge of collapse, and all of it triggered by one human standing in their chamber with calm eyes and a closed briefcase. Volker's hands tightened into fists. "If I agree," he said through clenched teeth, "if I choose your path, how do I know Earth will not turn on us later?" Cole lifted the briefcase again, holding at his side. "Because Earth didn't come here to conquer you," he said. "If we wanted war, your fleet would already be gone." The truth hung in the air like a heavy stone. No threats, no shouting, just truth. The Dominion officers looked at each other, fear in their eyes. Never had a single moment forced the Empire to see how fragile its power really was. Finally, Volker spoke again. "What do you want from us?" Cole answered immediately. "A promise." Volker's brow furrowed. "A promise to step back from other worlds. A promise to end 4 surrender treaties. A promise to stand down your war fleets unless attacked." The commander's voice trembled slightly. "And if I refuse?" Cole nodded to the screens. "The Galaxy would decide your fate." Volker turned to look again. Dozens of silent ships, all watching, all waiting. And the Dominion commander knew If he made the wrong choice, his empire would end today. He closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, a small crack of fear finally showed. This, Volker whispered, is not diplomacy. No, Cole replied quietly. It's truth. The alarms fell silent. The room held still. The next words Volker spoke would decide the future of his empire. The huge chamber felt frozen in time. Alien officers stared at Commander Volker, waiting for his decision. The Dominion had never been forced into a corner before, never been told no, never been shown their weakness so clearly, so painfully, and all of it because of a human Marine standing calmly with a locked briefcase. Volker stood stiff and silent. His throat tightened as he looked once more at the viewing screens. The unknown ships outside had not moved, not spoken, not fired, but their silence was worse than any threat. Their presence alone was enough to press a blade of fear against the Dominion's pride. He turned back to Cole Harrigan, his voice heavy. You came here knowing this would happen? Cole didn't hesitate. Yes. And Earth sent only you? No backup? No fleet? Volker pressed, still struggling to understand. Cole shook his head. Earth sent me because words coming from one man carry more weight than words backed by 100 guns. This answer confused several Dominion ministers. One whispered, humans are strange. Another muttered, bold or foolish. I cannot decide. Cole continued speaking, slowly and clearly. You plan to trap Earth. You plan to force us to surrender. But Earth does not want war. He paused and looked straight into Volker's eyes. Earth only wants fairness. The word echoed in the chamber as if it were a physical object. Fairness, a concept the Dominion had almost forgotten. Volker clenched his jaw. You think fairness will matter when the Dominion regains its strength. Cole lifted the briefcase, slightly. That's why you need to make a choice now. The room grew tense again. What choice? Volker demanded. Cole raised 2 fingers. 2 options, he said calmly. 2 futures. All eyes in the room locked on him. Option 1. Cole lowered 1 finger. First option, when your systems reboot, you attack Earth anyway. The room stirred uncomfortably. Some officers smirked at the idea. Others looked worried. You can try, Cole continued. Your fleet is large. Your empire is strong. You might hurt us. Then he pointed to the screens. But you won't survive the galaxy's response. The unknown ships outside glowed faintly, their energy cores pulsing like quiet thunder. Cole continued. You will lose allies. You will face rebellions. Your enemies will rise. Your empire will fall. He folded his arms. This option ends with the Dominion erased from history. Several ministers flinched. The room felt colder. Option 2. Cole raised a second finger. Or option 2, you change course. Volker frowned. Meaning, you stop your forced tribute programs. You remove your fleets from peaceful worlds. You end your threats and choose real diplomacy instead of false negotiations. The room erupted in angry murmurs. This is madness, one minister shouted. We will look weak, another cried. But Cole continued, his voice steady and firm. No, you will look wise. The murmurs quieted. You will not lose territory. You will not lose resources. You will not lose pride. You will gain respect and allies instead of enemies. Cole leaned slightly forward. You will keep your empire, but you will stop acting like a tyrant. This statement hit the room like a shockwave. No one had ever spoken to the Dominion like this. Not even other great empires. Volker stared at the Marine with a strange mixture of anger, disbelief, and, deep down, reluctant respect. You speak as if you know us, Volker said. Cole shook his head. No, I speak as someone who understands power. He pointed at the disabled consoles. Power is not control. He pointed to the guards standing nervously near the walls. Power is not fear. He pointed to the ships outside. Power is not threats. Then he rested his hand gently on the briefcase. Power is choice. The room went completely silent. For several long seconds, the only sound was the soft hum of backup lights flickering across the chamber. Then Volker slowly walked toward Cole, step by heavy step. He stood only inches away from the human. "You expect the Dominion to forget its old ways?" he asked. "No," Cole said. "I expect the Dominion to evolve." Volker's eye twitched. "You expect us to trust Earth?" "No," Cole replied again. "I expect you to trust yourselves, to trust that you can lead without crushing others." The commander looked down at the briefcase. "And if I refuse?" Cole answered quietly. "Then you will be remembered as the leader who ended his own empire." Gasps filled the chamber. For a moment, Volker's massive strength cracked. His fingers trembled. His breath shook. He looked at the screens again, at the silent ships, at his disabled fleet, at his nervous officers. And then he looked back at Cole. "Human," Volker said slowly, "you are either the bravest man I have ever met or the most foolish." Cole gave the smallest hint of a smile. Earth tended to mix both. A strange noise escaped one of the ministers. A small laugh. Nervous. Surprised. Real. Cole stepped back and gave Volker space. "The galaxy is changing," he said. "Be part of that change. Or be crushed by it." The commander closed his eyes. He inhaled deeply. And when he opened them again, the fury was gone. In its place was something Earth had hoped to see. Understanding. "We," Volker said slowly, "will consider Earth's proposal." Cole gave a single nod. "That's all we ask." The chamber felt lighter. The atmosphere less hostile. The guards lowered their weapons slightly. The Dominion ministers exchanged uncertain glances. Then Volker asked the final question. "If we choose peace, what happens next?" Cole answered. "Then the briefcase stays closed." A quiet shiver ran through the room. And for the first time in centuries, the Dominion stood on the edge of change. The chamber felt softer now, as if a heavy storm had just passed. The Dominion ministers looked uncertain, confused, and even a little relieved. Commander Volker stood tall again, but the anger in his face had changed into something more thoughtful. Cole Harrigan waited patiently. He didn't push. He didn't rush. He simply stood there, calm, holding the briefcase that the entire Dominion feared, even without knowing what was inside. Finally, Volker spoke. "You said the briefcase stays closed if we choose peace. What must the Dominion do first?" Cole answered carefully, making his words simple and clear. "You must announce to your outer fleets that all aggressive actions against peaceful worlds stop immediately." A few ministers gasped. One nearly stumbled backward. "That is impossible," a tall officer shouted. "The outer fleets follow only old doctrine." Cole didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "They will follow your command, or the galaxy will follow mine." His words carried a quiet weight that pressed down on everyone. Volker did not miss the deeper meaning. The commander took a slow breath, then turned toward his officers. "Prepare a message," he ordered. The officers hesitated. "You heard me." Volker snapped with new authority. "We will send a cease command to the outer fleets." The officers finally obeyed. Some were afraid. Some were angry. Some were secretly relieved. Cole watched them go, then looked back at Volker. "You've taken the hardest step already," Cole said. "The rest will follow." Volker narrowed his eyes. "You speak like a leader, Marine, not a messenger." Cole shrugged lightly. "I speak for Earth, but I stand for peace." A strange silence filled the room. A silence that didn't feel dangerous anymore. A silence that felt like something new was being built. Slowly, carefully, the backup systems in the chamber flickered. Lights steadied. Holoscreens brightened. Dominion technicians began regaining partial control of their communications network. One of them shouted nervously, "Commander, long-range channels are opening. Send a message," Volker ordered. A single phrase went out across Dominion space. "All fleets stand down. No aggression toward Earth or its allies. Commander Volker." It was the first time in centuries a Dominion had sent such a command without demanding tribute or obedience. The chamber held its breath. Seconds passed. Then minutes. A technician finally announced, "Outer Fleet Admiral responds. Message received, awaiting further instructions." A wave of relief swept through the room. Even Volker's shoulders relaxed slightly. Cole nodded. That's a good start. But the decision wasn't complete yet. Volker turned back to Cole. If we continue down this peaceful direction, what does Earth want next? Cole set the briefcase on the table gently. Still locked, still untouched. We want to open real talks, he said. As equals, you speak. We listen. We speak. You listen. Volker blinked slowly. Not dominance? No. Not surrender? No. Not control. Cole smiled softly. No. Cooperation. The word felt strange in the Dominion's grand chamber, but strangely it fit. Volker sank into a seat, tired but thoughtful. You know, Marine, he said, if Earth had sent a diplomat, I would not have listened. Cole chuckled quietly. I know. Is that why they sent you? A soldier? Not a soldier, Cole corrected. A Marine. Volker actually smiled. Small, rare, honest. Earth has interesting traditions. Earth has interesting people, Cole replied. One minister stepped forward, clearly nervous. What happens to us now? People across the Empire will demand answers. They will ask why we change our approach. Cole considered the question, then answered. Tell them you saw something greater than power, something greater than fear. And what would that be? The minister asked. Cole lifted the briefcase just an inch, just enough for everyone to feel its presence again. Choice, he repeated. Volker nodded slowly. Then we must make our people believe in it. You will, Cole said, but not today. Today we take the first step. The minister bowed his head. The technicians reported again. Commander, the neutral worlds are receiving your message. They are surprised. Cole folded his arms. They'll come around. Trust takes time. Volker studied the Marine carefully. You could have destroyed us today. Cole looked toward the viewing screens, where the unknown ship still waited silently. We don't want destruction, Cole said. We want partners, even strong ones. Even former enemies? Cole nodded. Even you. The room fell quiet once more. Volker stepped closer. One more question, Marine. What is inside that briefcase? The entire chamber leaned forward. The question had been in everyone's mind since Cole arrived. It was the one answer they had feared more than any weapon. Cole placed his palm gently on the case. Nothing, he said. The room froze. Volker's eyes widened. The ministers nearly collapsed. One guard dropped his weapon in shock. Nothing, Volker repeated. Cole nodded calmly. It was never a weapon. The briefcase is a symbol. A message. A message of what? Volker whispered. A message that Earth never wanted war. Cole said. But Earth needed you to believe we were ready for one. Volker stared at the Marine, at his steady breathing, his calm posture, his fearless honesty. You risked your life on a bluff? Volker said in disbelief. Cole shook his head softly. No, I risked my life on hope. The chamber was silent again, but this time the silence felt like sunrise, warm, promising, new. Volker extended his hand, slowly, uncertainly, toward Cole Harrigan. Then let today begin something different, he said, between Earth and the Dominion. Cole took his hand, firm and steady. It begins now. Outside the station, the unknown ship slowly rose, turned, and vanished into the dark. Mission complete. The Dominion had made its choice, and the briefcase stayed closed.